Testing. Yes, that's working. Don't know why it wasn't working. All right. Good morning. How is everyone today? I'm in El Salvador. I'm in El Tunco, actually, by the coast. I just found the cafe this morning. It's here. It's almost 8 a.m. Let me check the time. 7:52 a.m. What time is it in UK? Probably like 3 p.m. or something like that. Anyway, I don't have much time today. I probably have like maximum 1 hour. I want to go over Bitcoin, QANX, and TRVL. I'm going to go straight into it. Just for reference, I think it's good to have a look at last week when I did a live stream on Friday last week, because it's basically done what I wanted or what I expected. And so I just like to go over the previous stream just so people can see that it's quite interesting, some of these analyses that I do. Let me just mute it. So I was kind of talking about this wick fill. See that BTC wick fill? I was talking about the wick fill 2 weeks ago, and then I kind of came out with 2 breakout trend lines. See, that's where we were. I was looking for it to reclaim a level and then kind of find support and then head up towards the point of control. It's kind of what I was looking at. Pretty much like that. Something similar to that. Timings are all tricky. That was into QANX. All right, so that's kind of what I was looking at last week. See that? And just looking at the charts, I haven't looked at the charts in literally a week. And if I go to the slightly lower time frame, medium time frame, well, we were kind of here, weren't we? Look, this is Friday morning. It didn't continue to go down. It actually just went up, but it has found support on a previous low. You see that? So it has done that, and it didn't hit the point of control in the first instance, but it did come back to this. You see this area of support that I was looking at? It was just a high volume node. It found support, and now we're on the way up. So that was a very successful trade plan, wasn't it? So you took that trade. That's kind of what you're looking for. We had the first breakout. Usually when that happens, it's not that weak. Yeah, if this was like weak, if this was really weak, then there's no way you would have done that. You would have just kept on going. Yeah, and then this would have been, you would have taken out the low, and then this would have been a nightmare, disaster for all the bulls. But it hasn't done that actually. It's in the first attempt, it's broken through. It's washed this trend line. That was a big wash, showing weakness for the bears. You got a big take profit, and then the price is just getting back above that trend line. That trend line is pretty much washed. Doesn't exist. I wouldn't mind a back test of it, and we're kind of trying to back test it a little bit. And what you can see is we're above these key high volume nodes. What I've actually done is I've gone, let me just kind of hide this now. I'll put these into their own group. Last Friday, I have to kind of clean my charts. I have to spend time, and I haven't done that. So that's part of the problem, isn't it? Get rid of the trades. Let's just draw the volume. And so the other thing I was talking about last Friday was the volume. Okay, you'd have to go back and watch the stream if you really were interested, but I was talking about what I wanted to see for bullish volume, and I clearly talked about the point of control flipping. Yeah, and I talk about this a lot. If you ever watch my streams, I talk about a change in volume which turns a range from bearish into bullish. Right now what you can see is this is the volume pull from last Friday. See, it's all the way up to that wick fill. That's bearish. Why is that bearish? because the point of control is in the high of the range. It is a range bound price action. The point of control is in the high of the range. And now what I was looking for is I was looking for the point of control to flip to the bottom of the range. The lower the better. And in this circumstance, when you're looking at the charts, when I kind of update the volume now, and basically I'm taking it, I'm adding 1 week's worth of volume, and you can see that the point of control has flipped. Okay, now it hasn't gone lower. It hasn't gone to the low. So let me just undo, and you can see it's there. You can see the point of control is here. And then when I draw the volume to bring the current volume, you can see how it's moved down. So the point of control has flipped. It's moved down. We're at the point of control now. Technically bullish because the point of control has moved lower in the range, but the price is still underneath the point of control, so also bearish, bullish and bearish. Okay, so we're still not where we want to be. What it means is that now most of the volume in this range is at the point of control, which has dropped from the high of the range, and it's actually in the lower part of the range. And then we've got these key high volume nodes. So most of the volume now is in the lower part of this range, which I would argue is actually quite bullish. Okay, but we do want to flip the point of control into support. So now that I've updated the volume, I'll update this low, this value area low. These key volume, high volume nodes are slightly different. I have to kind of zoom in because my screen's a little bit dark. Yeah, that's high volume though. There, you see that? This one's slightly higher there. You have the point of control that's flipped. So now the point of control is no longer up there, it's here. You see that? And we'll just kind of just clone this high volume node and take it up there. Actually, that's a bit of a range. I'm going to kind of ignore that. There's a bit of volume there, but kind of ignore it. Actually, maybe not, because it was the previous point of control, so probably keep it. All right. Oops. What am I doing? Get rid of these squiggles. So where is the price now? The price is finding a little bit of resistance at the point of control, the new point of control, but we are getting wash price action. So there is kind of clearing the liquidity here. If I go back to the trend lines, there you go. You can see that we've broken from this trend line. If this was bearish, we should have kept on going. More bearish should have been this steeper trend line down. Less bearish, but still bearish would be down. And we haven't done that. And so I would, and because we've also flipped the point of control to the lower part of the range, I would argue that we're starting to form bullish price action now in the charts. Let me have a look at the order flow as well. Again, I haven't looked at this in a week. Oh, my XO charts is a bit laggy, so I don't know how. All right, so we're getting some bearish CVD now, really bearish CVD right now. You see the CVD's going up, the price is going down. This is really bearish. All right, we're underneath. Are we underneath the? We're above the daily open. So above the daily open is generally speaking bullish. Underneath the VWAP is bearish. We're kind of in a bit of an indecisive zone right now. Bit of indecision because we're forming bearish CVD. Okay, we're getting some market longing here, and it's being massively absorbed. You can see that. You can see the OI has gone up, the CVD's gone up. This is big market longs are coming in, and the price is being heavily absorbed by limit longs. Okay, and this is lagging so badly that I can't even use XO chart. So that is enough. I think that's enough information for everyone to see that we're getting a little bit of bearish CVD right now. So this is quite bearish. Just locally bearish. I'm just trying to zoom out to catch the range, but I don't know how laggy this is. It might not let me. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's too laggy. I can't tell across the range. Okay, let me change the time frame. Maybe that will help. Change to 30 minutes. Let me see if that helps. It's not really. Right, this is so laggy, I can't even use it. So I'm just going to get off the order flow. It's pointless. Go back to trading view. So we're getting some bearish CVD here. This is because we're at the point of control. So you're getting selling going on here. What's going to happen next? Well, who knows, really? No one really knows. That's why you use risk management, because no one really knows. But this support level is relevant, isn't it? This previous level. It's also a high volume node. And where's my fibs? Yeah, we're kind of rejecting here of this 236. Let me have a look at the candles. Yesterday's daily candle was a bullish engulfing candle. You see that? It's pretty bullish. We've probably got some new daily levels there. Let me check them out. We're into this wash daily level. You see that? But we've got this brand new liquidity level from yesterday's bullish engulfing candle. Let's have a look at the weekly time frame. Last week we were looking at decreasing prices, decreasing volume. That's not really that bearish. It's quite bullish. Decreasing prices, decreasing volume. We did a full wick fill with a higher low. We've front run this level, lower level. We're looking to reverse here. It looks like we're looking for a reversal, but we haven't had the increasing volume to the upside yet. That's the that 3-day candle is a inverse hammer. It's a pretty bullish 3-day candle. Inverse hammer in the lows. So we're looking to reverse this. I kind of still think we're going to go up. To be honest with you, I kind of feel like we're probably going to go up still. We're getting some selling going on here. Now, this is the thing. This is the question. What happens next? If we fall back underneath this trend line in a meaningful way and then find resistance from it, yeah, you could go back down to test the low there. It's possible. And we're not getting impulsive price action here. This is all corrective. So we're not just going to impulse up. We'll probably go down before we go up. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of lag here on my trading view as well, which is a little bit frustrating. We're kind of range bound. Let's have a look at some of my indicators here. I'm getting some bearish divergences here on the MACD. Getting some bullish divergences here on the RSI. I'm inclined to think we go up. Jeez. Let's have a look at the monthly time frame candle. Oof. That's turning, huh? We're kind of in a really interesting area. Just looks like we're consolidating here, huh? 4 months in a row. Just consolidating. The price is kind of going sideways, kind of like it did here, huh? It just getting went sideways. Then you got the final dip, and then we had an explosive move. Kind of feels like that again, huh? Feels like that. It could always reject, but it does feel like that we're kind of going sideways. But we're not getting much buy volume, and that's the problem here. You see that? We're not getting market buying. It's tricky. The tricky part is that even though the point of control is in the is bullish. We're still underneath it. We haven't actually flipped it into support. We're getting decreasing prices, but we're getting decreasing volume. So we're not getting an increasing volume net, which suggests we're going to enter some kind of bear market where people start shorting like there's no tomorrow, because the game is over. And we haven't actually come back up to the golden pocket either. You kind of want that to happen. You kind of want it to go up and reject properly from a clean move to the upside with a lower high, a real lower high. So we haven't had that yet. So I'm kind of, even though it's looking a bit bearish, I'm inclined to think that we're probably aiming for what I originally had, which was that zone there, golden pocket. I kind of still think that, but we may have to pass right back down to the value area low one more time. I mean, we're above this trend line. Yeah, I don't really have any insight, to be honest with you. I kind of still think the same as before, which is there. I still think that, actually. It's really taking a long time, and I don't think anything's changed. The only thing that changes is if we lose this level that we've reclaimed as support. So if we kind of can't get up anywhere meaningful, then we fall below that level, then yeah, we're fucked. Then Bitcoin's fucked. Then we might get a bounce, and then whatever. We'll probably go in further down. Whatever. That's if we kind of meaningfully lose this level that I marked out, which we've flipped into support. And so that's kind of your litmus test for further downside, when at the moment we're naturally finding a lot of resistance here because the point of control has dropped. But at the same time, I don't really see why we don't continue going up all the way up to the golden pocket, which is the previous point of control. Not much movement on the price action either. 1%, 2%. I don't really have much insight in Bitcoin this week, actually. I kind of think we're still going to go up. And then if we are able, the litmus test for another all-time high would be to reclaim the golden pocket. Golden pocket is going to be really important on the way up. If we smash through it and then flip it into support, then we're heading for all-time highs again. And so that will be the real test. We had a wick fill, and now we have to see if we can flip this point of control into support, flip the golden pocket into support. If that doesn't happen, then we're probably putting in a lower high for lower prices. So I'm kind of still there. Let's have a look at BTC dominance. Oof, look at that big wick. Not much insight. SPX, have a look at that. Oh, look at that. SPX is pushing up, huh? Look at that. Gapped up. It's really bullish, huh? SPX. Usually means, if the SPX is bullish, it usually means that crypto's going up, usually. In the weekend, it's probably going to pump. That's what it usually means. ETH hasn't really dropped crazily, you know. ETH is kind of still chugging along. And if BTC is correcting, don't really see anything in there. So if I have a look at these other tokens. I think that's it. I think that's Bitcoin, actually. I don't really have much insight, except that I probably still think the same as last Friday. But we are getting some bearish CVD. I wonder if we get a little bit bullish price action this weekend, just because the SPX is really strong at the moment. And it's gapped up. You see that? Look at the Russell 2000. That's almost that all-time high. This is looking really strong. So I wonder if we get a little bit of risk on this weekend just because the markets are rallying towards the end of the week. And so maybe we do get a little bit of pullback, but then maybe the weekend we get a little bit of pumpy to take us to the golden pocket. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. All right. It's kind of Bitcoin for today. Really short and sweet. Let me quickly move on. So let's have a look at QANX, my Friday update. I do QANX. Again, I was thinking QANX is coming for the support for this trend line. It's coming to test it again and again, and we came underneath the point of control. I'm just going to update the volume here, actually. I can't remember what I said actually last week. Did I say another swing failure? Probably. Look, let me have a look. I have to go back and have a look, don't I? Let's quickly have a look at what I said last week. Minus the volume. I'll put the volume on. There you go. I put a swing failure there. Look at that. And my volume is low, so you can't see it. There it is. Looking for reversal. And so right now, I'm really just focused on this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. I really don't. But this is the level, the previous week low. And as long as we don't close lower than the previous week low, I think this is going to be a reversal candle for next week to be green. And we could see a reversal in this wick. All right, there you go. That was last week, wasn't it? And did we close lower? Nope. Did we get a swing failure? Yes. It wasn't too bad. I guess I was right, wasn't I? Sometimes I'm right. So there was a bit of insight for a lot of people there. I just marked that off. You saw how I marked that. We're up 8%, 8.5% from that level that I marked out in last Friday's stream. It's okay, yeah. So it's all right. We didn't close lower. Look, we took out the low. We took it out again, and look, we're trading back above the point of control. Let me update the volume here. Any changes? Nada. Nothing. No changes in the volume, as you can see. So again, we're still getting quite low volume, but we are getting interest. We are getting buy-ups at the lows. People are buying the lows, which is good. We're still not getting that crazy volume that we want. I guess we're still just waiting for the mainnet. We are putting in volume in this area. This is the right area to put volume in. It's the point of control. But ideally what you want to do, again, as I've always said, is flip the point of control into support, which we haven't done yet. We are just kind of taking the lows and buying up, taking the lows, buying up, filling gaps. That's it, really. So we are looking at a green week potential, unless we have a crazy sell-off this weekend. No one can predict that. We are looking at a green week for a reversal. And if we do get a green week, then we're going to get a brand new weekly level, and then we have a chance to really continue the reversal. Let's have a look at this weekly candle and see how that forms. I'm looking to see if it's a piercing reversal candle. That means that this weekly candle has to close above the 50 fib. And I'm just going to mark it off for you there. It's 2593. There you go. So if the weekly closes above the 50 fib of the previous weekly body, piercing candle. That would be a piercing candle. That would be a bullish reversal candle. The beginning of a bullish reversal candle. If you see that, that would be really nice. That will also be a nice close above the point of control. Let's see if that happens. I'm not sure. Can't tell. Okay, we have to wait until Sunday. Again, I want to see more volume. Volume is really important, especially when you're looking at reversals. And so yeah, the volume is pretty, it's okay in a sense that you got this big higher time frame correction. See the big, what is it, this big higher time frame correction, and you're getting like decreasing volume. Usually that's what you want to see, like decreasing volume on higher time frame corrections. But right now on this weekly time frame, we want to see the greens to have more volume, not less. And so last 2 weeks we saw decreasing volume. You see decreasing prices, decreasing volume. That's not bearish, that's actually bullish. And that's why you get the reversals in this wick fill. And so now we just have to see what happens next. Okay, so we're kind of possibly trying to bottom here and find support. That's basically what I've got for QANX. Very short update. Let me have a look at the Quan platform. X page. You guys don't know where I am. I'm in El Tunco in El Salvador. I'm back in El Salvador. I'm going to Colombia next week. And so my next Friday stream, I think it's been Friday the October 31st, is going to be from Bogota in Colombia. That'll be interesting. I'll have to report back and tell you what's going on there. I'm heading into the Amazon jungle. So the week after I'll be deep in the Amazon without any connection to the real world. So we have to see how that plays out for me. This is the Quan platform X page. Okay, just some updates, not really interesting. We are thrilled to announce that Quan platform has joined blockchain. This is October the 21st. Has joined blockchain for Europe, the leading European trade association representing the global blockchain industry. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? The involvement of Quan platform strengthens the association's advocacy for a secure and innovative European blockchain ecosystem, bringing expertise crucial for navigating the evolving threat landscape and unlocking new opportunities for businesses, governments across the continent. Quan platform joins over 30 other industry leaders within blockchain for Europe, adding its expertise in quantum-resistant blockchain technology to the association's collective advocacy. And you could read more there. All right, so I don't know. It sounds good, though. I don't really know. Anyways, a little bit of news there. I guess people are still waiting for the big news, which is the mainnet. Let's have a look at the Telegram channel while I'm here. Oops. Where is it gone? This is Telegram. If you're not in it, why not? Oop. Oh, my Telegram's a bit messed up. Let's kind of minimize that. Lots of chat. Not much interesting things. How is it? Good morning, everyone. So just read the Google article about their Willow quantum computer. If people think the risk from quantum computer is years away, they are surely wrong. The rapid pace of quantum computer evolution is scary now. I agree. And he's put some links there and lots of other things here. Crisscross. He's posted a link here in German about Liechtenstein. And he knows the CEO of Telekom Liechtenstein. Anything else? Anyway, there's lots of posts here. There's also another group here which I'm in, which is the trading platform. This is quite interesting. I brought my family in. Some don't even know yet. That's quite funny. My family, my entire family is in. Even my whatever. All right, that's quite funny. Lots of funny things here. Oh my God, look at this guy. Every day should be a QANX buy day. This guy's been buying. Oh, there's one sell there. Why are you selling? I can't wait to see the God candle. Let's go. So if you're not joined a member of this channel, you should join. It's, I don't know what the link is. Oh, there's a link. All right. There you go. All right, that's QANX. Actually, let me just go back to the charts for a second. I just want to see what, I mean, again, no one really knows what's going to happen next, right? Let's just see what happens with this weekly piercing, right? That's the next thing we want to see. Do we get a weekly close above this 50% fib or not? And then what we do definitely want to see the point of control flip into support. We want to see that. What does that look like? It's exactly what it looks like. You go up and you test, and you, yeah. So you look at it and it looks like it's being held at support. Does that make sense? That's what it looks like. It doesn't have to take long. It could just be in one candle like that. But you want to see a test where the point of control acts as support. We're not getting that at the moment, but eventually that's what we want to see. We want to see a test, and then we want to see a nice clean test of the point of control. We should get that. Then that's the confirmation. Oh my god, this mosquito is killing me. Once you see that, sometimes you get like a double test or whatever. Sometimes it just kind of hits. But once you see the point of control acting as support, that's going to give us the confidence that we need, that we can go up. And right now, actually, this, looking at this move, it looks quite impulsive. It looks very impulsive. These lots of greens. Look at that impulse. It's quite impulsive. So this could be like a running flat potentially. Who knows? Could that be the first impulsive move? This first bam, this impulsive wave. There. It's like, looks quite impulsive. Could we be seeing like a little bit of a running flat here? Who knows? Could be. But I expect the mainnet announcement is going to be really impulsive, isn't it? So I'd like to see when that happens. Hopefully it's going to happen quite soon so we can get out of this range and smash the higher prices. Really, that's what we need. Increasing volume, increasing prices. Generally speaking, when you see an impulsive move, it is from the lows. And we are, as you can see, we've taken out some lows here. That's a low. We've taken that out. Could we go down and take it out again? Of course we could. We could even take out these lows. That would look terrible, but at the same time, that's when we want to see some crazy impulsive move if that was to happen. I've talked about that in previous streams. All right, that's my weekly QANX, and hope to see you next week from Colombia. I'm going to move on and finalize the stream, finish the stream with TRVL. So the CEO, Eric, has been in El Salvador with me all week and with his family. Yeah, I'm wearing a D-Travel cap because I'm kind of pushing and promoting D-Travel here in El Salvador. And Eric, the CEO, the new CEO, and his family have been here with me and visiting El Salvador. We were together in San Salvador for the first part of his trip. Then he went to the Costa del Sol. I'll show you actually. Let me just kind of bring up the map. I'll show you exactly what's going on. If this opens. Right. This is El Salvador. Why is it on? You can see the landscape here, can't you? And how do I get rid of the landscape so you can see the map view? Don't know. Oh, there it is, layers. Transit, terrain, traffic. What's that? Air quality. Traffic, street view, terrain, transit. There you go. there. All right. So he stayed for a few days here in San Salvador, where there's somewhere around here. I'm not sure where. Somewhere in it was in Escalon. It was somewhere there, and then came all the way down to the Costa del Sol. This is the Costa del Sol here. You see, this is quite here. Playa Costa del Sol. See that? The sand is golden there. It's quite a family-orientated coastline. I didn't stay with him there for a few days. I went to Tunco, which is where I am now. You see that? El Tunco, that's where I am. That's me. And then for a couple of days, he came and stayed here in El Zonte. El Zonte is Bitcoin Beach. That's what they call it, Bitcoin Beach. But we call it Playa El Zonte. And that was his trip. Kind of get a little triangle of El Salvador. This is the airport. You see the airport is here. San Salvador's there. And this is the main tourist destination, El Tunco, which means the pig. And then you've got El Zonte, which is Bitcoin Beach over here. Right. So that was the trip. And he's heading back today with his family. And the great news is that it was a fabulous, wonderful, amazing trip. Okay. There's lots to report. I'm not going to report all of it now. I don't have time because I have to go literally in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. But let me just go to the... Where do I want to go to? Let me go to my profile. So interestingly enough, we've had our first booking in El Salvador. I posted it on my X page. Where is it? Here it is. See that? New booking process. Via del Sol Boutique Hotel and Art House. Just process the direct booking using D-Travel. And then see that? Another one. Let's go to the travel app. Let me just show you. So we've had... That's our first El Salvador booking. This is kind of what we're trying to do now. We're trying to see if we can capture a whole market. And we're starting with El Salvador. Let me just chuck in some dates here, some arbitrary dates. It was down here. See that? What have I done? See that? And then this. What's that one? That's new. I'm just trying to see if... Oh yeah, it's another listing on Via del... So what she's done, and that's Angela, she's added another listing on her property. So she's got 3 listings on her property. And I don't know why, but the location is slightly off. It should be... I'll have to tell her. I was wondering what that new one is, and it should be over there. We have another new listing here. See that? And this isn't brand new. I haven't reported on this one. And so I don't know who this is, actually. I've tried to find out and I have no idea. I probably should message them and say, hey, who are you? And it's basically a bedroom, isn't it? Well, it says 2 beds. So yeah, it's basically a bedroom in someone's house. So this is our network at the moment. Let's have a look. 10 results. And 1 is missing here because there's 1 in Sonsonate that's not here. Let's have a look. Nine results. So it all depends on the dates, doesn't it? And the availability. Let me just clear it. I can't clear it. Let's try next January. 11 results. That's it. That's the one in Sonsonate. So it varies depending on the dates that you're putting and the guests, etc. And I guess the best way to do it is to just go far into the future. 12 results. So we have 12 listings now. 12 listings four, I would argue, four properties. And then some of the properties, they have a different split between the properties. So it's the interesting thing about properties here in El Salvador is that you have rooms and then they try to rent the whole thing out as a whole. And so obviously you have multiple listings, but you have like individual properties in individual locations. So, okay, we're still early, huh? This is still the beginning. If you remember in one of my previous streams, this was empty. And now we have 12 results in different various areas of El Salvador. And kind of my aim and my plan is to expand this to at least 200 listings. I would say listings, maybe. I mean, again, properties, listings. You ideally want properties, but let's start with listings. Let's start with the easier task. That's our kind of first objective. And initially it's going to be slow, but once this grows and grows and grows and starts to build, once we start to get a little bit of traction, I feel that we're going to expand really fast. And so one of the really important objectives was for Eric to come back, and Eric and I have had a few conversations about travel. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I'm not really privy to say anything, to be honest with you. I can't say anything. Yeah, so I get a lot of questions on the Telegram channel about the future, about the tokenomics, and unfortunately, I'm not sworn to secrecy. I can say what I want. I don't work for D-Travel, but at the same time, I think it's fair not to say anything, except that everything is changing. We've been talking about tokenomics for a long time. Tokenomics is changing, but strategy is changing as well. Strategy of D-Travel and the vision. So a lot of people have been talking about D-Travel, Airbnb killer. No, we're not going to be an Airbnb killer. We're going to be our own. We're going to create our own identity. We're going to create our own brand. We're going to create our own vision and forge our own destiny. It's going to be very different, but at the same time, it's going to be very competitive too. And so while people are talking about Airbnb, they're saying, what have these guys got planned? What are they trying to do? You're just going to have to watch this space. I think a lot of people who are involved in D-Travel have been patient. 3 years, 3.5 years. You could be patient for another few months. Why not? And the leadership has changed. If you go into Telegram, you can see Eric is posting. He's interacting. He's engaging. I'll quickly pop to Telegram to show you. Here. See that? Look, this is Eric. Let me just kind of... So Kitty Commie, I won't go through the conversations, but Kitty Commie makes a post, really important post. Good morning. If you had to give a number from 0 to 100 in terms of how complete D-Travel product is in terms of D-Travel's vision, where do you think we are right now? Where do you think we should be to roll out the service globally, assuming we already have a stable market base in El Salvador? That's what we're trying to build right now. For example, we could be at 50% of the whole roadmap, but we only need to be at 75% to roll out marketing, etc. I'm not talking about adoption, but the technical part, code-based auditing, etc. Thanks, and have a nice weekend to you all. Eric, you see, this is the difference. Eric is responding and replying. He's directly addressing the points. This is the CEO, D-Travel Eric, or at TRVL Hodl. And he responds and he says, I understand what you're asking, but it's not a question that I can easily answer because we're a multi-sided platform. It's really important for people to realize what that means, the multi-sided platform. He's going to answer it, I think. Solving for at least one destination is the key to solving for all. So, for example, Airbnb launched and gained traction in 2 core destinations. New York City was really the place where growth started to accelerate between hosts and travelers, which eventually led to rapid growth in other destinations. Brackets, The Cold Start Problem by Andrew Chen is a great book that explains the challenges and strategies related to launching a multi-sided platform if you want to learn about it. I think what we're talking about, what he's talking about, is the idea of creating a network of hosts or properties and listings. That's one side. And then creating the traveler base too. And you have to do both. You can't just do one without the other. A little bit of a catch-22 or a chicken and egg situation. And then when you're dealing with crypto, you're also trying to develop the crypto use too, the utility as well, because we have a token that we're trying to grow in value, as well as the network, as well as which includes the travelers and the hosts or the operators. And so we have a multi-sided problem, so to speak, a multi-sided platform, and we have to build all of it. We can't just focus on one and ignore the others. And so here he continues, our host product is fairly mature, and I vouch for that because I'm a host on DTravel, and I've converted quite a lot of bookings and turned over quite a lot of turnover. What's missing is a compelling traveler value proposition, which we are currently hyper-focused on at the atomic level. This is straight from the top, straight from the CEO of DTravel. The good news is that supply side was much more complex, and this is what I can agree to as well. The hardest part we've achieved, and that's the tech behind creating a peer-to-peer real-world network, and it's been tried, it's been tested, and we have the proof of concept. Okay, that's the hardest part. We've achieved that. And so the good news is that the supply side was much more complex, and we can iterate on Traveler UX much more rapidly, and that's what we're actually planning on trying to do right now. When I say we, I mean all of us, and I think a lot of people don't realize or recognize that I don't work for DTravel. I'm an investor, I'm a crypto holder like all of you guys, but I see DTravel as a DAO, a future DAO. I'm envisioning the future from the get-go, from the now, and I'm a participant. And I think if everyone was to kind of take that approach, we'd be in a much stronger position, because rather than looking at this as a short-term flip, crypto flip, I'm looking at it as a long-term hodl, because we're going to take chunks out of Airbnb and the rest of the travel market. And so when I say we, I participate as an in an advisory role, and also on the ground level in trying to push and promote DTravel, because I really believe in decentralized travel. I really believe in DTravel, and I actually really believe in Eric at leading us. Number 3, DTravel is in year 3.5 of building and experience what's known as the trough of despair that all startups must go through. Once we have the right mix of capabilities, growth will happen suddenly and exponentially. I've been talking about exponential growth. Yeah, you remember in all of my streams I talk about the network and how we haven't seen exponential growth yet. Jeff Bezos has a famous quote that's something like, you can grind for 4 years with no results, and in the 5th year become the biggest thing on the planet. Okay, it will be a rocket ship. This is from the CEO. It will be a rocket ship. I will be here to enjoy the fruits of it, and I hope you are too. Okay, and if you're not, then we're just going to laugh at you for selling and we'll be on our yachts. Okay, whatever, not really fussed about if people sold, because we're just going to continue building and building. All right, so Kitty Commie says thank you, and he hopes that this business will fly someday. So do we all. So yeah, you see the CEO DTravel is interacting. I think this is really valuable insight into the future, and this is a place to come and find more information. There's different channels. This is the main channel, the general channel. That's where you can also see the bookings processed and new users, new operators, new booking sites, and new booking process. Like here, look, this is on new booking site activated. A stay home just launched a new direct booking site. Let's have a look at it. It's probably, it looks like it might be in Thailand. So let's have a look. You can click on that and have a look. A stay home. I haven't done this. I haven't clicked on this, so I don't know. Oh, so they've added a new home to their portfolio here in Thailand. You see that? That's a stay home. I posted something in Telegram. Airbnb's increased their taxes. See that? So Airbnb taxes, their commissions. Airbnb's increased their commissions. It's 18% commission from guests. So they've increased their prices. This is good news for us. And here, look at this. New booking process. New booking processed. New booking process, that's from the same place. Look, we've also had a new exchange listing. This is quite interesting. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to have to go to probably my own, because I retweeted this. Buyconomy, look at this. Buyconomy.com. We are excited to announce that DTRVL DAO has been listed on Buyconomy.com. TRVL spot trading. There you go. Look at that. And so this is organic growth. Yeah, we didn't make this happen. You see that? This wasn't DTRVL making this happen. This is just organic growth, and that's actually what we want going forward. What we want going forward is for TRVL and DTRVL to become so popular, so well known, so recognized, that all the different exchanges will organically, natively adopt TRVL. That's the way it should be done. And the way they do it is they buy the token from the market. DTRVL no longer sells or distributes the token outside of the market. That's all stopped. So with the new leadership, there's a new direction. And part of that is there's no more off the market trades. Okay, and so now going forward, when you have new exchange that wants to list the token, they're going to have to buy the token from the market, on the spot market, right? So this is a big deal, and they've got in there early. I can see that they've got, I don't know how thick the liquidity is. I can't tell how big the order book is. Let's have a look here. Oh, it's not much, is it? 60,000. It's not. It's a very light order book at the moment. I don't know what the volume is either. I'm just trying to have a look. Can't tell. Oh look, here's the volume. Very light volume. But that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Let me kind of retweet that. Sign of things to come? Maybe. And then if you go to the DTRVL X page, Andrea has been posting some things. I love it when she posts something. Let's see what she's been posting. But actually, if you only come to DTRVL just to watch Andrea, then that's a good result. That's all we need.
Update that I am so proud to announce today. The travel mini app built on Base is finally live. It means that now you can travel carefree, book peer-to-peer stays, earn rewards, save up to 30% when you book through us, travel all in crypto, and be part of very unique experiences that we are planning all through your phone. And that's possible all thanks to Base and the travel team. Now the next step when you finish this video is log in your Base account, search for the travel, and book your next destination all around the world. Check it out and let us know what you think.
I tried to show the Base mini app last week, kind of just on the beta on my phone, just showing it to the camera. Here Andrea is talking about it in more depth. This is a really cool video that she's made. I love it. We need more of that. More of her posting these social media videos. Let's have a look at this one. I have to rewind it. Let's have a look. What can I say? I mean, it's a bit mental, but who cares? It's fun, isn't it? And look at this one. This is pinned October the 14th. I missed this one. Coinbase users can now buy TRVL on Coinbase. I don't know how. It's probably on the app again, isn't it? It's probably on the app. All right. So she's planning to go to DevConnect in Argentina. We've been talking about DevConnect in Argentina I think she's going, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go yet, because I'm going to be in Colombia next week, and then I'm going to be in Panama. And it's a long trip from Central America all the way down to Buenos Aires. It's a good 10 hour flight. So I'm not 100% yet whether I'm going to go, because I have to be back in London at the end of November. But in the meantime, watch this space. I might go to give Andrea support and a helping hand there. And what we're actually talking about is combining wellness with travel, wellness. I think that's kind of where D-Travel is going to continue on that trend of wellness. There's a synergy between wellness and travel. I've been kind of talking about it because what happened is in Sweden, they passed, I don't know if it was a law or something, but doctors can now prescribe travel as prescriptions. So it was Planet who tweeted it, and so let me just find him. I probably retweeted it, and I just have to see if I can find the retweet. Here it is. So this is a developing trend that's kind of been initiated by Sweden. They can now prescribe travel for healthcare as medicine, yeah? And this could be a developing trend, and this is something that we're talking about. We're talking about in depth behind the scenes, and so that's quite interesting. So let me just finally get back to the charts. And so we haven't really looked at the charts at all, have I? I've just been looking at everything else. Let me have a look at June analytics. This is where you need to go if you want to look at the real world network. And yeah, I can see that the cumulative GMV is going up at 1.4 million. The listings are gradually going up. But it's not going up fast enough, and that it's the same thing, isn't it? We're just seeing kind of proportional growth. We're not seeing the exponential explosive growth that we want to see. Yeah, that's kind of what Eric's talking about. So we're still in that kind of early build phase, grind phase, build, grind, build, grind, build, grind phase. And that, I think a lot of people don't realize that during a period of time where you're in that phase, a lot of startups and businesses go through that long period of wilderness before they reach their promised land of explosion, of explosive growth. And we're in that phase. And I don't know if we're at the end. I don't know if we're in the middle. We're certainly not at the beginning. We're definitely not at the beginning. We're certainly somewhere between the middle and the end, I would say. And it all depends on certain factors to do with the Bitcoin bull market, to do with the global trends, to do with what we're doing in El Salvador, how successful we are in El Salvador, Central and South America. But at the moment, we're still seeing proportional growth. This is still good. Yeah, we're seeing proportional growth. And when you kind of go back to the charts, you go back to look at the token price. Again, what are we seeing? We're seeing a decorrelation, a disconnect between the token price and the network, the growth of the network, the work that's being done by the D-Travel team and people like me who are D-Travel enthusiasts, early adopters, hosts, true believers. None of that is being reflected into TRVL value. And short of me just going and buying a shit ton of TRVL to pump up the price, what we really want to see is a correlation between the growth of the network, the work that's being done to build the app, the network, and everything to do with that, and the value of TRVL. We're not seeing that just yet. And so I keep on talking about tokenomics. It's no secret. Tokenomics is changing. We are changing the tokenomics. This is a collaborative effort. And what we're trying to do, what we will do, is connect the value of the token with the growth of the network. And then the real incentive then for people like me, holders or hodlers, will be to grow the network. We don't need to grow the value of the token because there'll be a correlation between the value and the growth of the network. And when you look at the network, you can see that it's growing. Now, at the moment, we're not seeing exponential growth, but we are seeing growth. Yeah, whether it's proportional, some kind of proportional curve or straight line or whatever, looks like a straight line. We are seeing growth, but we're not seeing that translate into the value of the token. Once you correct that, then people like me who are token holders we'll just, all we need to do is grow the network. Then the value of the token will grow with the network. So then it's an incentive for people like me to grow the network. Whereas right now I'm growing the network and we're not seeing that translate to an increase in TRVL value. In the future, once the tokenomics changes, it will reflect the growth of the token with the growth of the network, and that's when you're going to see an increasing network growth, because then people will see the growth of the token and it'll be like a race. And then also it will release people to use some of their token to grow the network, and there'll be a kind of a transfer of value between maybe at certain points selling the token to grow the network, and then the growth of the network will reflect in the growth of the token. That's kind of what we want to experience in the future, and we're not there yet. And so this is coming. We are bottoming here. It's a tricky one because I think last week was quite a good week because we closed higher, but we've gone all the way down to fill the gap of when we broke out. You see that? If you look at this, the top of that candle, you see that? We've literally gone down to test and fill the gap. On the weekly time frame, we're seeing decreasing volume, decreasing prices. So it's not as bearish as it looks, but we do need to reverse it, and we haven't been able to do that. And whatever happens here, again, if we close lower than the previous week, then there's still potentially a little bit more downside, and it's going to be the real test. Do we close lower, or do we close higher than the previous week low? Even though we're getting a really nice buying tail, the reality is, if you close lower, then you're still potentially going down, and then you're potentially going to fill the wick for a reversal here. And we just have to see what happens this weekend. Like, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. We're actually putting in lower lows and lower highs here at the moment on the local time frame. We've almost come down to the July the 6th low. Almost. Is that we almost come down? So we've clearly come to fill the gaps. This is going to be a real test to see if we have more buyers and sellers or more sellers than buyers. Because if we end up taking out this low, that means we've got more sellers than buyers. That means more volume has been extracted than put in. And obviously, if we take out the all-time low, then that means over this period, we've ended up with more selling than buying. And that means that we still have work to do. Yeah. That being said, there is a higher time frame harmonic in play here. I just want to show you. And not always easy to see. Let me just pull it up. Oh, it's a fuzzy picture, isn't it? Let me find that picture that's less fuzzy. Oops. Oops. It says 4x harmonic. It doesn't matter. So it's a tricky one, huh? Because I'll show you. A bat would be to take out the B. A cipher as well. It's a higher D in the cipher. I'll show you, look. That's a cipher. That's a bat. And then a butterfly is taking out the low. Okay. I'm not fond of a butterfly because it actually puts in an all-time low here. So a cipher is probably better here. It's like a higher, higher, higher low. If we can put in a cipher here, that would be nice. And then if not, then we're actually taking out the B without taking out the X. And we're putting in we are looking at a harmonic here, yeah? Some kind of bullish harmonic. Usually with these bullish harmonics, we go up to 50% of the drop. And so that's the target. But sometimes you can get explosive moves. Like another 30% increase in value from where we are. From if this was a cipher pivot right now. Let me just have a look at the volume as well here. Yeah, we've kind of lost the value area. We kind of have to reclaim that in this local range. And you can see the point of control is right there in the middle. It will resist the price. And then let me just have a look at the timings to see if there's any insight on the timings. With timings, I like to use the weekly time frame. Just because they're kind of more like estimated areas rather than the exact numbers. Get rid of these now. Kind of there now, aren't we? For 1.168 of this rise to this drop. It's either there at the beginning of November. If we can hold this low, we can end up with a cipher. Let me just try and pull that cipher up. Yeah, it would definitely be a cipher. No, I don't know actually. Not 100%. I'm just looking at these patterns here. No, I don't know. I'm not 100%. Honestly, a cipher really should take out this B. And there isn't much distance between the X and the B. And I don't like the idea of taking out the X. Because that would be another all-time low. And that just means that more value has left than entered, which is possible. Because we have had a big announcement of a CEO change in the last couple of months. So it is possible we have lost more value because some big investors have left. But on the higher time frame, it does look like we're bottoming here. It's just I don't know if we're going to take out the low of the previous month or the low of the previous 3 months. See that? These two previous 3 month candles. I still believe the last 3 month candle is extremely bullish. And now we're just coming to the place where the price needs to find or is trying to find support. And that's basically what we're experiencing now. There's a little bit of uncertainty, and you can see that in the charts. Uncertainty about the tokenomics. I think that's evident to see. Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious that people are a little bit uncertain about the tokenomics. People don't know what kind of tokenomics changes are going to be. They don't know whether it's going to be bullish or bearish. Let me tell you something. We're not going to have a new token. We're not going to print new tokens. There's not going to be an addition of more tokens in circulation. The 1 billion token cap is fixed. That's not changing. TRVL is fixed. That's not changing. Right? So anyway, I'm going to kind of have to finish the stream. I don't have any more insight. Let me just do I think we're kind of forming some kind of bullish harmonic, which will take us to 50 fib, which could just take us to backtest this point of control. And I think a lot of people are just waiting for the changes, actually. We're in the lows. A lot of people are waiting for the changes. There's a little bit of rumor buying. Now there's a little bit of uncertainty, but it's corrective price action. We have to flip the point of control back into support. That's really important. I do wonder if we are forming like an ABCD here. Something like that. Look, the 618 was flipped. It's like an SR flip and then a 1-to-1. Takes us to the all-time low. All right. Let's see what happens. Right. That's my TRVL stream. Any questions, just put it on my comments. If people have got good things to say, then say it. If you've got bad things to say, I think just keep it to yourself. Not really interested. We have a new leadership. It's a fresh start. It's a new vision for a new future. D-Travel is changing. It's changing. Everything's changing about D-Travel. We have a new CEO, new vision, new direction, new strategy. I think it's fair to say that the past is the past. And I think it's really important that if people want to bring up the past, then they're just not really constructively trying to help now. They're just trying to be bitter and sad and sorry and whatever, and maybe they're having fun. It's all good, but just keep it to yourself. All right, I'll see you next week from Bogota. That's where I'm going to be, and then we'll kind of, if I see anything on the charts, I'll post it. I think this whole thing is corrective still. You can see it's not a crazy sell-off, it's just corrective price action. It's a big difference to what we experienced in this part. This second part of the price is very different to the first part, but the big test will be the previous all-time low. Eventually when we get there, I think we probably will eventually get there, and that's like a 200% increase in value. That's going to be the big test. What happens at the previous all-time low, which will also be the value area high, looking at this price action, and there'll be a big kind of, we'll have to see what happens. That's kind of where I'm more interested in. Right now we're just seeing accumulation. These are really good prices. People who haven't picked up some TRVL, looking to pick up some, these are really good prices. All right, see you next week.